Namaste, welcome to Vinyasa Flow Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. For this practice, you'll want to have 2 blocks and a strap. Let's begin in any comfortable way for you to sit. As we've been focusing on physically this week, we'll be bringing the hips into flexion, which looks like quite a bit of forward folds. And you might do the opposite to begin. Sit on a block between the ankles in hero's pose. Start to open up what we're going to be contracting quite a bit. But do what works for you to be able to sit tall, grounded, relaxed, allow a moment to mentally arrive in your physical yoga practice. Today is the full moon in Pisces, also a super blue moon. It's the second moon of this month, August 2023. And it's called the supermoon because there's something about the distance. It's a bit closer to see. It looks larger in the sky when it's at its peak. So take a look outside tonight and maybe do some moon bathing. I want to share an excerpt from the book called The Spirit and Practice of Moving into Stillness, Yoga by Eric Schiffman. Stillness is not the absence or negation of energy, life, or movement. Stillness is dynamic. It is unconflicted movement, life in harmony with itself, skill in action. When you are wholehearted about something, however, when you want where you want to be and are participating fully in the moment that you are in, sometimes enthusiastic, sometimes mellow, you will experience a new sense of aliveness. You will experience a surge of energy, renewed vigor. This is not because there is actually an increase in energy, but because you are not constricting it quite so much. There is now a better energy flow. There is less conflict, less friction, less not wanting to be where you are. And therefore, for you, there will be the experience of more energy. This occurs whenever you are not attempting to spin clockwise and counterclockwise simultaneously. Spinning in opposite directions happens when you act on opposing desires, when you are conflicted about what you are doing, not wholehearted. Granted, this is most of the time. Stillness happens when you relax inside and are in harmony with yourself. This is the point. When you experience yourself in stillness, that is, when you give your undivided attention to experiencing the truth about you, you will experience the conflict-free, calm, dynamic peace of perfectly centered, abundant life energy. This exquisite peace deep within you is actually the experience of God, or the harmony of oneness felt within you as you. And this is ultimately what we might call the goal of yoga. So while this is a vinyasa flow, breath-led movement, sometimes you feel like you're in continuous movement, look for the stillness that comes from being wholeheartedly present with your breath, with your body. Let's start by checking in. Notice any sensations you're feeling in your body right now. Tune into the natural breath. As you feel the quality of the breath, feel your energy. What's it like right now? Now tune into your heart and mind. What are you sensing is present for you mentally and emotionally? Now invite a deeper breath into your nose. Let energy move as you exhale any sound to your mouth. Inhale an even fuller breath in. Let it go slowly out through the mouth. Continue to lengthen your breath both in and out. Starting to just breathe through the nose. I invite you to think of something you appreciate in this moment. Allowing gratitude to support cultivating wholehearted presence. Now set your intention. What would you like to invite into your experience through this practice today? Now let's broaden our perspective beyond our individual selves. Choose someone to dedicate your practice to. Someone you'd like to make an offering and extend loving kindness to. And together, let's join our voices, opening our practice by chanting Om 3 times. Continue breathing through the nose, and I'll invite you into a breathing technique called Bastrika pranayama, which means bellows breath. It's where you breathe with the mouth closed, and imagine your lungs and belly were like a bellow, like an accordion, filling them up fully, then exhaling just as deeply, in and out through the nose, where you start to create a brisk pace, sort of like this. So using your diaphragm to feel the belly and the rib cage expand. Full inhale, complete exhale, creating your own rhythm. We're going to practice that for 1 minute straight. Do what you can, rest if you need to, and start again. There's a physical action or kriya that also helps to energize yourself and warm up for the physical practice, while this breathing technique itself helps to bring clarity of mind and alertness. So the physical action or kriya is bending the elbows apart, making fists with your hands. And as you breathe in, you straighten the arms and spread the fingers. And as you breathe out, you rebend the elbows and refist the hands like this. So I'm going to watch the clock for 1 minute, and let's prepare to begin practicing bellows breath. Ready? Go. About 20 seconds left. And relax. Breathe naturally for a few moments and observe anything that you're feeling. Does your energy feel slightly different? Now let's start to practice a breathing technique that helps to invite calm, focus, and balance of the energy. And it's called Ujjayi pranayama, victorious breath. We're gonna use this when we're practicing the movements and postures. So let's start here. Closing the lips, softly narrow the back of your throat. Create a gently audible whispering sound as you lengthen your breath evenly in and out through your nose. Take your time to find the very top of the breath and the very bottom of each. Now, as you keep listening to that breath, let's stand up and come up to the top of our mats. If you want to have blocks to press your hands into in front of your feet, place them at the top in front of your mat. Step your feet apart about hips distance or wider and parallel to each other. And then bring your hands together in prayer at your heart center. This posture is called Padasana. Cultivate the feeling tone of what you're inviting into your experience on this full moon, the intention that you set at the beginning. And practice moving with that energy as we salute the sun with gratitude. Surya Namaskar Si. As you inhale, sweep your arms forward and gently coil your chest up. Exhale, bow from your hips, but feel free to bend the knees so that you can do this easily without rounding the back. Lower your fingertips on the ground. Inhale, step the left knee behind you into a kneeling lunge. Look up. As you hold your breath, step into plank, top of the push-up. Exhale, first lower your knees, then your chest, then your chin, sticking your tailbone up in Ashtangasana. Inhale, slide forward onto your belly and draw the shoulders back into Cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes and lift your hips back into downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot forward beside your left thumb and lower your right knee, gazing up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Inhale, rise, raising the arms overhead. Gently drop the shoulders, lift the heart. Exhale, seal your palms in prayer in front of your heart. One more time, second side. Inhale, sweep your arms up and gently coil your chest up. Exhale, bow from the hips. Feel free to bend the knees. Plant your fingertips on the floor. Inhale, step the right knee behind you and look up. As you hold your breath, step into the top of a push-up plank pose. Exhale, first lower your knees, then your chest, then your chin, Ashtangasana. Inhale, slide forward to the ground, entering Cobra. Draw the shoulders back. Exhale, tuck your toes and lift your hips back into downward dog. Inhale, step your right foot beside your right thumb. Lower your left knee and gaze up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and bow. Inhale, root through your feet and rise all the way, lifting your heart towards the sun and the full moon. Exhale, join your palms at your heart center. Let's move into sun salutation A, Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, sweep the arms up, coil the chest in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge forward from your hips in Uttanasana. This time, press your fingertips on your shins, blocks, or the floor, and inhale, lengthen your spine forward into a half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Step back to plank pose. You can have the knees down or legs straight, and this time, exhale, shift forward, lower halfway, hugging the elbows to your ribs, Chaturanga Dandasana. Then lower to Cobra or flip the toes here and draw the shoulders back, upward facing dog. As you exhale, lift your hips back into downward facing dog. Spend a few additional breaths pedaling out your feet so you can warm up the backs of your legs. Maybe shake and nod your head, anything you need to move to loosen up here. Tune in to the quality of your breathing. Let the movement dissolve as you steady your gaze, your drishti on one spot. Listening to 2 more slow breaths. When you finish the exhale, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat, forward fold. Press your blocks, shins or the floor. Inhale, half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, again fold, Uttanasana. Press with your feet. Inhale, rise all the way, gently lifting the chest, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands at your heart in Padasana. Let's go once more. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Step to plank and continue exhaling, lower forward through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, choose Cobra or upward facing dog. This time, arrive in stillness at downward facing dog, pausing for 3 rebalancing breaths. We're going to change it up from here and start another flow. Keep your hips left and right leveled. As you inhale, raise your right leg back. Now, as you exhale, bend your right knee and turn out your right thigh. As you inhale, draw your left outer hip back. Then exhale, bend your right knee high towards your nose. Engage your abdomen, rounding in plank pose. Then quietly step the foot beside your right thumb into a kneeling lunge, lower the back knee. So you might choose to have your fingertips on blocks like this, or the height that you need in order for your shoulders to be able to relax, unless it feels comfortable on the ground. Keep the back toes tucked and inhale in your kneeling lunge, sinking your hips, gently draw the right hip back and look up. As you exhale, pyramid pose, lift the left knee, keep the feet where they are, and to your degree of comfort, straighten the legs by drawing the right hip further back as you bow with a slight lift in the chest. Inhale, lower the left knee again, kneeling lunge, look up. Exhale, lift the left knee, pyramid pose. One more time. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. This time, come into a high lunge, crescent pose. Inhale, rise up. Draw your tailbone down, square your hips evenly to face forward, and slightly lift your frontal hip bones. Hands apart or together, land your gaze on one intentional focus point, softening the eyes for 3 more breaths. Spin the left heel down, entering warrior 2, align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. Open the arms wide and steady your gaze just past your right hand. Wrap your right outer hip underneath you and firm the top of your left thigh bone back. Tune into 3 more breaths. From your right shoulder socket, spin the right palm to face up. Inhale into peaceful warrior, side bend towards your back wall. Exhale your hands to the ground. Take it through your vinyasa or a couple rounds of cat-cow pose. In downward facing dog, pause for a full cycle of breath. Then keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, bend the left knee and turn out your left thigh at the hip. Inhale, tack the right hip back. Exhale, bend the left knee towards your nose. Engage the abdomen as you round forward to plank pose. Then quietly step the foot beside your left thumb and lower your right knee. Fingertips on the ground or on blocks, kneeling lunge. Let's start a little flow. Breathe in, sink your hips, look up. Keep your feet where they are and exhale, lift the right knee, draw the left hip back towards straightening your legs as you bow, pyramid pose. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. This time, come into a high lunge and rise to stand in crescent pose. Draw your tailbone down, slightly lift your frontal hip bones, and evenly square your hips to face forward. Hands apart or together, relax your eyes as you steady your gaze. 3 more breaths. Spin the right heel down for warrior 2. Align left heel to arch of right foot. And as you open your arms, steady your gaze just past the left hand. Wrapping your left outer hip under you, firm the top of your right thigh bone back. Let's listen to 3 more even breaths. Spin the left palm to face up. Inhale, side bend towards your rear wall, peaceful warrior. Exhale your hands to the floor. Take it through your vinyasa, cat-cow, or meet a straight and downward facing dog. Downward dog, pause for 3 slow breaths. Does your presence feel wholeheartedly here? Inviting that inner sense of stillness, that harmony. Let's bring that into the next series of sun salutations. Bend your knees, look forward, and empty the breath. Walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands together, Padasana. Let's take a couple rounds of Surya Namaskar B, flowing to the breath. Bend your knees together to touch, feet together. Inhale, sit low in chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, shift forward and hinge from your hips, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank and lower through your vinyasa, or lightly jump to chaturanga, taking it through. When you arrive in downward dog, keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your right leg back. Exhale the foot lightly beside right thumb and spin the left heel down. Inhale, rise to stand in warrior 1. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa or cat-cow. From downward facing dog, inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale the foot softly beside your left thumb, drop the right heel. Inhale, rise up to Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower to your version of your vinyasa. Downward facing dog, tune into 3 slow breaths. If you need to rest, you could bring your knees to the ground, maybe enter child's pose. If you're ready to move on, empty the breath, then walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat, let your feet touch. Then inhale to half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend your knees, chair pose. Exhale, mountain pose. One last time, inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Walk or float into your vinyasa. Keep going at your pace of breath. Inhale, raise right leg. Exhale the foot forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, lower, vinyasa. Side two, take it all the way through on your own. And when you arrive in downward dog, pause for at least 3 breaths. Restabilize, slow down the breathing. Notice what you're feeling here in your body right now. When you're ready, empty the breath, then walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend your knees, chair pose. Exhale, rise up. Now let's turn to face the wide width of your mat and step the feet wide apart, parallel to each other, preparing for a wide-legged forward fold. Bring the hands behind you to clasp here, or grab a strap to hold between the hands. Roll the shoulders back, breathe in and look up. As you exhale, begin to hinge forward from the hips, shifting your weight towards the fronts of your heels so that your pelvis is in line with your ankles rather than behind your ankles. Feel free to bend your knees so that you can create the most length in your back rather than rounding it. As you let your head fall, lift the shoulders away from your neck to create more space in the neck while stretching the arms forward to broaden the chest. Tune into about 3 more breaths here in this version of Prasarita Padottanasana. Now lower your hands either on blocks or the floor and lift your chest through your upper arms, drawing the shoulders back. Breathe in. Exhale, continue to hinge forward. This time, if you can reach, with your index and middle fingers, clasp your big toes. Parangusthasana. If you are clasping your big toes, breathe in again and lift the chest, draw the shoulders back. Keep lengthening your spine like a flat back and fold as you bend the elbows apart, lifting the shoulders while dropping your head. Another 4 breaths. So you might be experiencing it now. These kinds of forward folds tend to be cooling, more yin, lunar energy. See if you can soften all the muscles in your face, including your jaw, your eyes, your tongue. One more slow breath. Unclasp your big toes and begin to walk your hands to the front of your mat. Pivot to face the front in a kneeling lunge. So your left foot is in front of you. Lower the right knee. Keep the right hand down on a block or the floor, and with your left thumb, tack the crease of your left hip back and down. Stacking the left knee right above the heel, keep the left foot flat on the floor, and stretch your spine forward. Draw the shoulders back. As you exhale, turn your chest to the left, coming into a spinal twist. Raise your left arm up and spin the tricep towards the left wall. Then extend your left arm overhead while continuing to rotate the rib cage. Draw both shoulders back, including the right shoulder. Tune into 3 to 4 more breaths in this version of Parita Parsvakonasana, twisting side angle pose. Look down at your left foot and frame it with both hands on blocks or the floor, preparing for half split. Lift the ball of your left foot flexed and draw the left thigh bone back while you extend your chest forward. Keep a slight lift in your chest with the belly engaged and start to hinge from your hips, breath by breath. Ardha Hanumanasana. If your left hamstring feels pretty warm, you can explore moving towards full split. Tuck the right toes, keep the hips squared forward, and gently begin to slide the left heel forward. You can fold over the left leg here. Hanumanasana. Tune into about 5 more deep breaths. Take your time, dragging the left heel towards you slowly and stepping back into downward facing dog. Pausing there for 1 cycle of breath. Then step your right foot forward beside your right thumb and lower your left knee. Keep your left hand down on the floor or a block right under your left shoulder. With your right thumb, hook the crease of your right hip back and down, and keep your right foot flat on the floor as you inhale to stretch your spine forward, draw the shoulders back. Then exhale, twist at your waistline to the right and raise your right arm up. Spiral your right tricep to face the right wall and extend your right arm overhead, continuing the twist breath by breath. Keep drawing both shoulders down your back. Harita Parshvakonasana, twisting side angle pose. Look at your right foot and frame it with your hands on blocks or the floor. Lift the ball of your right foot flexed and draw your right thigh bone back deeper into the hip socket towards straightening the leg while you reach your chest forward. Keep a slight lift in your chest and firm your belly in while you bow from the hips. Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. Continue here or moving towards full split. If your hamstring feels warm, tuck the left toes, keep the hips squared, and gently begin sliding the right heel forward to your degree. You might also fold in here in Hanumanasana. Tune into 5 more deep breaths. Slowly slide your right heel towards you. Step back to downward facing dog. 1 deep breath. Then please lower onto your knees. Let's add in an inversion, one last active inversion called Dolphin pose. Dolphin pose is like downward dog, but you're on your forearms instead of your hands with the arms straight. It's quite demanding on the hamstrings, the backs of the legs, and we've done quite a bit of forward folds to loosen up the area. So let's see what's available. Start with extending your arms forward, palms face down. Then rotate your outer upper arms downward to spread the shoulder blades apart while you press the shoulder blades down your back. Keep doing those 2 actions and interlace your fingers with your elbows bent. Press down with your elbows on the ground, shoulders distance apart, and your outer wrists firmly. Draw the shoulders back. Establish the breath. Now either choose to look forward of your knuckles on your hands or drop the head and just let it hang freely without putting any weight on your head. Then tuck your toes, firm in the belly, deep breath in. As you exhale, press the ground away with your forearms and lift your hips back. Press your chest towards the shins. You're in Dolphin pose for 5 to 10 breaths. Now, if your hamstrings are warm enough, you might walk your feet forward closer to your elbows. Try to keep your shoulders slightly behind your elbows, not in front of your elbows. Create space in the neck, lift the shoulders back, and drop the head freely. Some of you might step the feet together and keep the hips squared while raising one leg straight up, flexing the lifted foot for a few breaths, and then switch legs for a few breaths. We're only practicing this once. We'll meet in child's pose when you're ready to rest. When you arrive in child's pose, balasana, you might want to bring the arms back by your sides and turn one ear to rest on the floor to just relax the neck and shoulders. A few breaths with one ear down, and then a few breaths switching the opposite ear down. Notice the quality of your breathing now. Then place your hands on the floor and inhale to roll your spine slowly upright. Let's open up the fronts of the hips and thighs. Since we're doing so much contraction of them, let's do the opposite and come into supine hero's pose. So already you might be sitting directly on your ankles. If that's fine, you can stay there. You can also, if that's a bit demanding on your knees, you can put a block between your ankles so that lessens the degree that you're bending the knees. Or if it feels fine, you can sit on the floor right between your ankles. Make sure that all your toes are flat on the floor. You're not turning out or turning in your feet. This helps to align the knees safely. And then keep your knees on the ground as we start to lean back. Only go as far as the knees stay on the ground, and they are no wider apart than hips distance. Seal in the bottom of your front ribs and draw the tailbone downward and slightly forward as you start to explore leaning back. Some of you might not lean back at all because you might already be feeling plenty of things happening, opening up the quadriceps and hip flexors. Listen to your body. We're not looking to create pain in the body. If you start to feel pain, back off. You've gone too far. Find your own edge before the pain. And with that, there might be some discomfort. Use your breath to be with the discomfort. We'll be here for about 5 more breaths. Now start to rise very slowly, no rush. Give it a few breaths. Step your feet in front of you and come to sit at the center of your mat. Let's prepare for our last few active back bends, starting in bridge pose. Separate your feet about hips distance apart. If you want to hug a block by the skinniest width between knees and thighs, that offers a little more stability for the lower back. Parallel the feet, parallel the thighs, and lower onto your back. With your arms really close to your sides, ground your shoulders and tilt your chin slightly back to open your throat. Slide your feet towards you until you could almost touch your heels with your fingertips, but not quite. Ground your feet and inhale, lift the pelvis up. Stretch the fronts of your thighs forward and walk the upper arms underneath your back ribs closer together. Keep your arms straight, and if your hands touch, you might interlace the fingers. Press the ground away with your outer upper arms as you lift your heart space open. Keep the feet still and energetically drag the heels back. Stay for about 5 or more breaths here before you slowly lower your spine and pelvis on an exhalation. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, bridge pose. When you eventually lower your pelvis, just keep the pelvis and feet on the floor and rest for a couple of breaths, noticing any sensations in your body. Then prepare for round 2 of bridge pose on your own. Give it about 5 or more breaths. Once again, when you've lowered, rest for a couple of breaths. This time, grab a block and let's prepare for restorative bridge pose. Lifting your pelvis, slide the block by the lowest height or the medium or the third height, right under the flat part of your lower back. Make sure it's stably and comfortably supporting your weight. Now the feet stay on the ground, keep them parallel to each other, hips width apart, and then bring the arms down by your sides really close to you and spin the triceps towards the earth so the palms face up. Ground the backs of your shoulders, tilt your chin slightly back, and continue to actively lengthen your tailbone forward towards the space between your knees as your thighs stay parallel to each other. 5 more breaths. Then lower the block or remove it from underneath and lower your pelvis. Draw your bent knees towards your chest and drop them over to the left, opening your arms wide apart. Keep your right shoulder on the ground and gaze past it. Begin to lengthen your exhalations slightly longer than your inhalations. You might count to 5 as you breathe in and count to 7 as you breathe out. This helps to relax the nervous system even deeper. Slowly roll onto your back to switch sides. As you drop your knees to the right, ground your left shoulder and gaze past it. Then start to rock up to sit. Let's prepare for our last forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Straighten the legs in front of you. Flex your feet apart, hips distance. Choose to either place a strap around the balls of your feet as an extension of your arms, or to raise the arms and eventually maybe clasp the big toes. Sit tall as you breathe in. Keep a slight lift in your chest and firm in the belly while you hinge forward on your exhales. Draw the shoulders back. Press down through the hips and breathe in to lift up halfway. Keep rolling the shoulders back, keep the chest slightly lifted, and then continue to fold. 3 more breaths. Inhale, slowly rise up. Please find a comfortable way to sit for our last pranayama practice. This one to cool down, relax the nervous system more deeply, help to tune inward and prepare for Shavasana and meditation. So sit comfortably, alertly, and relaxed. This breathing technique is called Nadi shodhana pranayama, alternate nostril breathing, which is one that I tend to practice on the full moon, as it also helps to cultivate your connection to your inner wisdom. As you know, emotions can become more profoundly felt during the full moon. You might be more sensitive to energies, and this just helps to connect to your intuition. So you might bring the left hand in Gyan Mudra, which also promotes that. Thumb and index finger touching, palm face up. With your right hand, stick out your thumb, pinky, and ring fingers. Close your lips and sustain your breath softly, more silently this time, in and out through the nose. As we practice, you might close your eyes and steady your gaze inward towards your third eye center, Ajna Chakra, towards the middle of the brain. We'll be using the right thumb to close the right nostril like this, and the right ring and pinky fingers to close the left nostril like this. Alternate nostril breathing. Let's prepare to practice 3 cycles together and 2 cycles on your own. Empty this breath. With right thumb, close your right nostril. Inhale through your left. Hold the breath in. Close left nostril. Exhale through right. Hold the breath out. Inhale through right. Hold it in. Close right. Exhale through left. Hold it out. Cycle 2. Inhale left. Hold. Close left. Exhale right. Hold. Inhale right. Hold. Close right. Exhale left. Hold. Cycle 3. Inhale left. Hold. Close left. Exhale right. Hold. Inhale right. Hold. Close right. Exhale left. Hold. On your own, continue 2 more cycles. Take your time when you finish. Let go of controlling your breath. Sit for a few moments, observing anything that you feel. Then begin to lower your body entirely onto the floor, finding a comfortable way to lie down and rest in stillness for a few minutes of Shavasana. Begin to notice what you're feeling physically, how your body feels. And slowly and gently, little by little, start to move your body out of stillness. A little stretch here, a little stretch there, while keeping your eyes closed. Start to turn over onto your right side and rest your head there for a few moments. Observing the quality of your natural breath now. How do you feel energetically? And do you feel any different since you began this practice? Then begin to lift your body upright. Find a comfortable way to sit for 5 minutes in meditation. You might close your eyes, you might join the thumb and index in Gyan Mudra, or you might look down in front of you. And let your body be still as you completely relax the body, upright and alert. Sense the breath flowing in and out, resting your attention where you can feel that in your body. The breath is a vehicle, it's one of the vehicles to circulate life force energy or prana throughout your whole being. Each new in-breath brings in renewal to the cells of your body and the intelligence of your being. Each new exhalation naturally lets go of waste, anything that is no longer of use to well-being. Notice when you don't do anything to stop the flow of the breath, how you are constantly being refreshed and renewed through each natural breath. Abundance, vitality, peace, well-being, they're all part of our inner nature, our core being. And they're continuously being renewed within us. When our attention goes elsewhere, when we constrict our minds or our bodies or our hearts, we constrict the flow of well-being to ourselves that is naturally coming in. So let this sitting, this meditation be an invitation to that flowing well-being that is abundantly coming to you. Relax the whole body and let your mind be open, your heart be open. Now notice how you're feeling mentally and emotionally. Has anything shifted here? Recognize something in this moment that you feel gratitude for. And then remind yourself of what your intention was on this full moon practice. Picture whomever you dedicated today's practice, in some way enjoying well-being. And now let's close together, chanting Om 3 times. Recognize the light within. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.